Today, we're diving into one of the biggest questions out there, one that really shapes how we think about our lives and our society. What's the real secret to getting rich?
Is financial success something you can actually build yourself, through pure grit and hustling, or is it more of a lottery, something that's basically decided by the circumstances you happen to be born into?
And these two quotes, they just perfectly capture the two sides of this whole debate. On one side, you've got this idea that it's all about mindset, it's about action. And on the other, well, it's the belief that the game was pretty much set for you from day one.
So, here's our game plan. First, we're going to look at the playbook for making your own success. Then, we'll zoom out and talk about the unseen systems that might be at play. After that, we'll see how this whole debate is actually changing the American dream. And we'll wrap up by asking, well, which philosophy makes the most sense to you?
All right, let's jump right into Section 1, the Great Wealth Debate.
Okay, so first up, the Millionaires Playbook. This whole perspective is about individual action. It's the idea that you are in the driver's seat of your own financial destiny. It basically says wealth isn't something you just stumble upon. It's something you go out and build, brick by brick.
And here's a pretty popular 4-step path to achievement, championed by folks like entrepreneur Grant Cardone. The whole point here is to take some vague goal and make it real. So, step 1, you gotta visualize it. Don't just want to be successful, define exactly what that looks like. Step 2, you get closer to it, you make it feel tangible. And then steps 3 and 4, that's where the real work kicks in. Figure out what it's gonna take, and then you go all in. It's a formula that puts all the power squarely in your hands.
And this right here, this is the core belief that holds that whole philosophy up. It's the idea that, the opportunity is there for everyone. The starting line might not be the same for everybody, sure. The climb might be way steeper for some, but the top of the mountain is there for anyone who's willing to make the climb.
And people who believe this will tell you there's never been a better time to get rich. Think about it. You've got the internet, where you can learn basically anything for free. You've got totally new ways to make money, like crypto or social media, that just didn't exist before. And honestly, when you look back, so many old barriers are just gone. Like, it's wild to think that women in the US couldn't even get their own credit card until the 1970s. The argument is simple. The tools are right there for anyone to pick up and use.
But of course, that is only half of the story. So now let's flip the coin and get into Section 3, Unseen Systems at Play. This is the powerful counterargument, the idea that our success isn't just about us, but about the giant economic systems we're all a part of.
This quote kind of reframes the whole thing. It suggests success isn't just a function of effort. It's more like a law of physics. It's saying that where you start, your initial conditions, is the single biggest predictor of where you'll end up. So from this point of view, hard work still matters, of course, but it's happening inside a system that might already be tilted.
Okay, so to really get how this system might work, we need to quickly define a key term: unrealized gains. It sounds complicated, but it's actually pretty simple. It's just the profit you've made on paper from something you own, like stock, that you haven't sold yet. And the crucial part is, in a lot of tax systems, you don't pay income tax on that growth.
And that little detail leads to this really powerful strategy that some people call borrow, buy, die. Here's how it goes. Let's say your assets, like stocks, shoot up in value. Now, instead of selling them and paying a big chunk in capital gains tax, you take out a super cheap loan using those stocks as collateral. That loan money you get, it's tax-free cash you can live on. Then, way down the line when you pass away, your heirs can sell some of the assets to pay back the loan, often with huge tax advantages. It's a completely legal way that the wealthy can use their wealth without getting taxed on it like regular income.
And when you hear about a strategy like that, well, it leads directly to the feeling behind this quote, that there are separate rules for the rich. It's not about anything illegal. It's just about having access to a completely different set of financial tools if you have assets instead of just a paycheck. So, 8. What does this number mean? Well, according to a 2017 Oxfam report from our sources, it's the number of billionaires whose combined wealth was equal to the poorest half of the entire world's population. Let that sink in. 8 people on one side of the scale and almost 4 billion people on the other. And you can see this trend playing out within the United States too. This chart shows what's been called a massive wealth transfer over the last 40 years. Based on research from the RAND Corporation, something like $50 trillion has shifted from the bottom 90% of American earners to the top 1%. That's a shift that has totally reshaped the economic landscape of the country.
So, where does that leave the American dream? In Section 4, we're going to look at how these two clashing ideas,
The individual versus the system are affecting this really core ideal.
You know the one, right? For generations, this was the goal. A good, steady job, owning your own home, making sure your kids had it better than you did. It was a dream all about stability and slow, steady progress, something you achieve through hard work.
But here's the thing. For a lot of people today, that version of the dream just feels completely out of reach. Or maybe it's not even what they want anymore. The world has changed so much, and so has the definition of what a good life even is.
And this is the new version offered in our sources. It's a huge shift, right? Away from just security and more toward fulfillment. The new dream isn't about grinding it out at a job you don't like for 30 years to get a pension. It's about finding something you're so passionate about that it doesn't even feel like work, so you never want to retire.
But this dream has never existed in a bubble. As you can see here, the economic world is always changing. The 50s and 60s, which we often think of as the golden age of that old American dream, was this really unique period of post-war prosperity. But since then, things have gotten a lot more complicated. You've had the long-term impacts of policies like the war on drugs, the massive shock of the 2008 financial crisis, and now all the pressures of a globalized, internet-driven economy. The rules of the game keep changing.
So all this leads us to our final section. What's your wealth philosophy? After looking at individual action versus these huge systemic forces, what's the big takeaway?
Well, it seems like we're left with two big ideas that are both kind of true at the same time. The first is all about your own agency. You absolutely have the power to learn new things, to take action, and to shape your own path. The second is about awareness. It's also true that we are all playing a game within a larger system, one that gives some people a head start and others a handicap. Maybe the real trick is figuring out how to believe in both of these things at once.
And so we'll leave you with this final question, which really gets to the heart of this entire debate. If wealth truly is a game, are we all playing by the same set of rules? Thanks for watching.